What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another edition of The Rome Show here on 12ouncesports.com. We broadcast live on YouTube, X, and Roku TV. You know what day it is. I bet you can guess.
Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is?
It's a Wednesday, February 5th, 2025, and that means Hump Day Headlines for the people. We got a lot to get to there. Plus, it is Wednesday of Super Bowl week. We are merely 5 days away from Super Bowl 59 kicking off between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles, the second meeting of the two teams in 3 years. So we have to start breaking down our thoughts on Super Bowl 59, which we will do today as well. I'm Andrew Romanella. I got you for the next 30 and change, as we do every single day on the Rome Show, 7 a.m. here on 12 OZ Sports. If you want to get in on the action, as we love our fans to do, you can comment live on the YouTube or the X. Simply just go to 12ozsports.com and hey, it'll pop up and I can read it live on the show, or just follow us on the social media, the Rome Show 1, Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, all the social medias, and the mothership, 12 OZ Sports, on all the platforms as well. All right, we got some Hump Day headlines for you. So,
uh-oh, guess what day it is?
Let's start getting
guess
into
what
them.
day it is? Hump Day.
First and foremost, the Los Angeles Rams are seeking a trade for Cooper Kupp, the wide receiver that they drafted in 2017. All right, so when the offseason ended, actually, let's go further back just a hair in case you do not remember. During the trade deadline of the 2024 NFL season, there were rumors that the Rams were shopping Cooper Kupp as somebody that they wanted to see if they could improve their roster, being that at the time, the Rams were not really in playoff contention. As we know, the final 7 or 8 weeks of the season went the Rams' direction. Puka Nacua, healthy. Matthew Stafford, healthy. Kyron Williams running the rock better than any running back in the league, minus Saquon Barkley. It all clicked for the Rams to the point where they even got themselves a playoff round victory as well. So it really did turn around, and you're looking at it and you're saying, okay, well, maybe the pressing question this offseason is Matthew Stafford. Well, the Rams general manager and staff turn around and say, absolutely not. We're going to look to see if we can move Cooper Kupp. And on first read of this story, I'm like, what are they doing, right? But then I'm like, wait, hold on a second here. Essentially, you have two of the same player in your system in Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. Okay, both are probably going to play the slot. Both are really going to be quick guys. They're going to want to get a lot of catches a game, volume type guys that have speed and agility, and generally are those guys like a Julian Edelman where you're like, how are these guys over 100 yards every game? And you think about that and you're like, man, they're really going to lose two of those guys. Well, I think there's a slight facade on what Cooper Kupp has been in his career since 2021, when he won the Offensive Player of the Year and had nearly 1,500 yards receiving. So here are Cooper Kupp's stats on your screen right now, just to give you an idea of why the Los Angeles Rams are going to try and trade the 31-year-old wide receiver. Okay, first and foremost, in 2021, as we just mentioned, his only Pro Bowl appearance, he was the Offensive Player of the Year with nearly 2,000 receiving yards and 145 receptions. No lie there. Los Angeles Rams go on and win the Super Bowl that same season. So a key clog in how the Rams got to the Super Bowl and then have been consistently that good. But if you look at the 3 seasons after the 2021 Offensive Player of the Year season, not only has Cooper Kupp barely played in half of the team's contests, 9, 12, and 12, he has not amassed over 850 receiving yards. And though he gets the targets because Matthew Stafford likes him. Your availability is your best ability, especially in the sport of football. Cooper Kupp came out with a statement, I believe it was yesterday, talking about his disappointment in being informed by the Rams. Here's what Cooper Kupp had to say. I was informed that the team will be seeking a trade immediately and will be working with me and my family to find the right place to continue competing for championships. I don't agree with the decision and always believed it was going to begin and end in LA. Well, Cooper, unfortunately, this is a business, and most decisions you will not agree with as a professional athlete. Still, if there's one thing I have learned over the years, there are so many things that are out of your control, but it is how you respond to these things that we'll look back on and remember. I have taken so much pride in playing alongside my teammates for the LA community. So much thank you for embracing my family and making this such a special place for us. 2024 began with one of the best training camps of my career. Preparations start now for 2025. Highly motivated, as healthy as ever, and looking forward to playing elite football for years to come. Love you guys, but coming for it all. So I have a two-part here to finish this first Hump Day headline of Wednesday, February 5th. Cooper Kupp, when originally told will be traded, I agreed with the Los Angeles Rams. I looked at the statistics. I looked at what the Rams are trying to do, looked at their current roster of Kyron Williams, Puka Nacua. If they keep Matthew Stafford and you trade Cooper Kupp, there's a team or teams that are obviously going to value this guy. We're not talking about you're not the offensive player of the year, even if it's one season and have 2,000 receiving yards, if you're that poor. I just think he's been a little injury bugged over the last 3 years. So I don't know what that means long-term in his career. He's about to turn 32 years old next season. There's a lot of question marks there, but there's a few teams that are going to value him. And so the Rams are saying to themselves, if we get a fourth year of Cooper Kupp, under 1,000 receiving yards, under 12 games played, injury bug hits him, 32 years old, we might never be able to get great value for him coming back to us, and then we really can't improve this roster moving forward. So when all is said and done, you're like, okay, I definitely agree with this decision for the Rams. But I say all that to say this. Watch out. Watch out for Cooper Kupp. Watch out for whatever team Cooper Kupp ends up on. And if you want my 3 predictions, okay, and these are just on a whim, Andrew thinking, man, how does this stuff play out? Let's see what's going to happen here. My first and foremost prediction is he's going to go to the Kansas City Chiefs. That's just, he's going to go be an unbelievable, he's going to have a 5-year longer career than anyone would have ever thought with the Chiefs, probably rack up 3 more years of 1,000+ yards each season. Like that, I could see being an option. Okay. That's first and foremost. Okay. Secondly, I'm wondering, okay, about the Las Vegas Raiders. All right. I don't know what pieces you could trade back for Cooper Kupp. I don't even know fully how great their roster is, but you're thinking about a team with a guy in Pete Carroll who had a guy like Tyler Lockett for so long in Seattle, smaller, shape-shiftier, elite hands type guy that can move around the field and really create problems for your defense. And then they had a DK Metcalf aside of him. Now they have Jackson Smith and Jigba. Like maybe that's an option. Okay. And then finally, all right, wrapping my head around really like, well, what's the thought process here? What about the Washington Commanders, right? Like, I feel like maybe if you traded a De'Ami Brown back to LA, you get a Cooper Kupp outside of Terry McLaurin. I'm not saying any of these are great ideas. I just started spitballing teams just straight off the top of my head that I'm like, would it fit? Could this work? And listen, I would love to hear your thoughts on this, but the first one that came to my mind is watch this guy end up in the Chiefs, right? Watch this guy be Randy Moss with New England in 2007, right? Or 2008. Watch that happen, okay? And I could see that. So do I agree with what the Rams are thinking? Sure. But do I say watch out for Cooper Kupp next year? Without a doubt in my mind. Speaking about football, I got the Custom Make Rome Show Football Club hoodie on. I've been telling everybody to DM me, okay? If you are interested in this, we are trying to knock out some Rome Show football hoodies for the people so that we can make some money for 12OZ Sports and the Rome Show in conjunction. All right. So if you want a Rome Show football hoodie, you don't have to get a number. You can have a number. Black, maroon, green, yellow, whatever you're thinking, let us know. Just DM us. They're not that expensive at all, $20. And you can rock one of these fire hoodies. If you want me to change the verbiage on the front, I can do that too. Maybe we make a Daily Dive lacrosse club hoodie, and we start to have some fun with the 12-ounce sports lineup. Either way, we love this hoodie, and we want to make sure we share it with the fans. So DM us if you want a Rome Show football hoodie as you get ready for the 59 Super Bowl. Let's continue.
Hump Day.
Hump Day. All right, here's the deal. The Dallas Mavericks, we spent a lot of time on this yesterday talking Luka Doncic trade. I got to tell you, something's coming out of Dallas that I have literally never seen before, okay? So clearly the fans are disturbed that GM Nico Harrison has traded Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers in exchange for Anthony Davis. Besides the fact that the Dallas Maverick fan wanted Luka Doncic in Dallas for the entirety of his career, not one Dallas Mavericks fan believes that the Mavericks got enough back in exchange for Luka Doncic. If you look at trades across the history of the NBA, there are players that are not caliber-wise Luka Doncic that teams have gotten more first-round picks back for and received more in the long run than the Mavericks could have even sniffed the jockstrap of during this trade. There's been a lot of other things coming out about how the Utah Jazz owner was in the dark on this thing till 30 minutes before it happened. He was like, oh yeah, I'll be in a 3-team trade. These things look like they benefit us. Who's the 3-team trade between, by the way? Oh, it's the back door between Nico Harrison and Rob Pelinka. What? And it's like, how did the NBA even nixay the Chris Paul to the Lakers trade back in the day? I know it was a different commissioner, but you look back on that and you're like, we nixayed Chris Paul playing with Kobe, okay? And that was like right before, it actually kind of was in the generation of the big three, right? Started by the Miami Heat and LeBron James, Chris Bosh, and Dwayne Wade. So you're like, you look at that, okay, and this is probably the biggest trade since that one didn't even go through. And then you look at other trades like, KD and Kyrie going to Brooklyn and what all these teams received back. And, when Kawhi Leonard was being traded from the Spurs to Toronto, then to the Clippers, these teams were getting hauls back, okay? And the Mavericks got nothing back. So you know what their fans have turned around and done? I don't want my season tickets anymore. I want a refund for my season tickets. So the Dallas Mavericks are offering in exchange for your season tickets, if you want to get a refund, they're giving each season ticket holder $2,000 for the refund of their season tickets. To me, if I'm the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, I have to fire my general manager instantaneously. Okay? I don't care if this trade works out. I don't care if long-term, maybe this is the move for the Mavericks. Okay? I care that we essentially just took our franchise from one of the more fun, exciting, and want-to-watch franchises in the National Basketball Association to now being a franchise where our own season ticket holders don't want to be here anymore. Our own season ticket holders would say, you give me $2,000 instead of me going out and selling every game the rest of the year and probably making more over time, because they're saying to themselves, no one wants to watch this basketball team. No one wants to come and watch the 35-year-old Dallas Mavericks. I mean, it really is the AARP of the league. You have Klay Thompson, Kyrie Irving, and Anthony Davis. Now, I'm not saying that those three still don't have a run in them, but I'm saying this looks eerily like the Boston Celtics of Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett, and Paul Pierce. Man, there's some stars. Man, they got a career. These three are pretty good. They could do it. But are they going to? Maybe they'll get to the playoffs. Maybe they'll win a round. Maybe they'll make it exciting. But are they going to do what Luka and Kyrie did together last year? Are they going to do what Dallas was able to do last year. And I get it. People have crushed Luka for his defense. People have crushed Luka for the way he's handled officials. People have crushed Luka for his conditioning. Must I remind you all that he's only 25 years old, but he's like the Ichiro Suzuki of basketball. He spent the first 5 years of his career, 4 years of his career in another country, being one of the best players in that league. Okay? And so it's always worked for Luka. And maybe, just maybe, because he's always been like literally the best player, not just on the team, but in the league and even in the country for some thoughts when he came from Slovenia. Maybe, just maybe, he needs a better influence. Maybe Kyrie wasn't the guy to get through to him to take care of his body and to be a little bit better on defense, because Kyrie doesn't play defense. Okay? Maybe LeBron, maybe it's not going to help him complaining with the referees, but maybe LeBron's the guy that's got to get through to him about taking care of his body, how he's got to do things the right way. Maybe that's exactly what he needs. So I think you're going to see a final 10 to 15 years of a career like John Elway and Peyton Manning. Not to say that John Elway and Peyton Manning weren't Hall of Famers prior to winning those Super Bowls, but just to say that, wow, their careers look a whole lot different, the back 10 than the front 10. Okay. And I think that's what's going to happen with Luka. You're about to see the face of the Lakers till 2035, 2038. Like, I'm going to be over the 40 hill, I think, before we ever entertain Luka Doncic not being a Laker. I mean, what? So you go from Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to Shaq and Kobe. Then you get LeBron. Now you get Luka. Hey, Showtime's being Showtime. All right. And just atrocious on the Dallas Mavericks. But I credit their owner for sucking it up enough and having some feel for their fans. We continue.
Hump Day.
The International Something Hockey Federation has continued their ban on Russia and Belarus through the 2025-2026 season. This ban of Russia and Belarus have continued since the invasion of Ukraine in 2022. So this has been an ongoing saga for a while now. This now puts in jeopardy the 2026 Olympics in Milan. And you got to understand, okay? Russia in men's and women's hockey is a top 5 program in the world. I think like the men might be ranked number 2 and the women might be ranked number 5 or 6. Like both of their programs on the men's and women's sides would be competing for medal opportunities at the Olympics. However, due to raising security concerns and the belief that due to this fighting, the IIHF believes that it's not safe for the rest of the participants at any of these events, World Juniors, Four Nations things, all these things, okay? And so there's going to be a real question mark surrounding the 2026 Olympics. By May of 2026, the IIHF is going to try and make a decision about the 2026-2027 season, which then I believe would have already passed the Olympics. It's some gray area there. There's some real, as all international sports are, but very interesting decision. By the way, in the 2026 Olympics, it will be the first time in 12 years that the National Hockey League will have its players playing in the Winter Olympics. So not only some interesting storylines outside of whether some of the best teams will be there, also interesting from the USA standpoint in terms of who will be playing and wearing the USA sweater. Finally, your final
Hump Day
headline of this Wednesday is Wild forward Ryan Hartman was suspended 10 games for his illegal forearm head hit to Tim Stutzel. And to be honest with you, it's just kind of an embarrassing move. I have the video for you right here. You got to watch it. It's in the first 5 seconds of the clip, but we will replay it as well. Check it out. Right off the face-off, he puts his head right on top of his helmet. You'll see it coming up here again. Hold on. And watch the face-off circle coming your way now. Bam! Just throws his head right down onto the turf. Just not good stuff. Forearm, back of the neck, head into the ice. I'm very happy that the National Hockey League came down and said, Ryan Hartman, 10-game suspension. There's just no need for that. Okay, this is already a sport that allows you to be physical. It's already a sport that allows you to drop the gloves and punch each other in the face. There is no need for, after a face-off, you to throw your forearm on the back neck of somebody. And after a 6-game suspension's handed out, the player is allowed to appeal, which Hartman will do. But I do think a lot of suspensions have been coming down in the National Hockey League this year. And part of that is because they are trying very hard to limit the amount of serious injuries. It's a serious injury sport, much like football, and you have to do the best you can to eliminate those injuries. Those are your Wednesday Hump Day headlines.
Guess what day
February
it
5th.
is?
Listen, we enjoy you, the Romo Sapien. So tune in and type in, okay? YouTube or X. We'd love to know your thoughts and your opinions. Coming back on the commercial break, we will talk Philadelphia Eagles offense, okay? Excuse me, Kansas City offense versus Philadelphia defense. What a matchup we have for the people in Super Bowl 59. Stick with us here on The Rome Show, 12ozsports.com, YouTube, X, Roku TV.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money, and we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
Yeah, it's the Rome Show, 12ozsports.com. We broadcast live, X, YouTube, Roku TV. You know the deal. Comment live on YouTube, comment live on X, all of the good jazz. I'm Andrew Romanello. We got about 7 minutes left on the show here, and it's just enough time to talk Super Bowl 59. That is right. We are getting you ready for Super Bowl 59. So over the next 3 days, okay, we are going to spend some time breaking down these matchups. So today we are going to look at Kansas City's offense versus the Philadelphia Eagles defense. Tomorrow, we will flip that script. We'll take the Phillies offense against KC's defense, okay? And then on Friday, we will give you a holistic view of what we are thinking for Super Bowl 59 on Sunday, February 9th. There is so many banana props out there that we will also take a look at on Friday, giving you some of our favorites, including what color the Gatorade will be. Okay, so without further ado, let's give you a little bit of a breakdown on the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay, so starting with the Chiefs offense, we are looking at the 2024 postseason, so you can get a realistic view of where we are at over the last 4 weeks. The Kansas City Chiefs are obviously 2-0 in the postseason, but in that 2-0, they've averaged 27.5 points per game. Now, I have to say this. They've been very creative with that 27.5 points per game here, and why. They are only averaging 290 total offensive yards per game right now in the postseason. That is good for 197.5 passing yards for Patrick Mahomes, and as a running group total, 92.5 rushing yards per game. Patrick Mahomes has completed 66.7% of his passes and has 4 total touchdowns to 0 interceptions, has fumbled 1 time. However, here's the creativity of the Kansas City offense. Patty Mahomes has thrown for 2 TDs, and he's also rushed for 2 TDs. So if the KC offense has 4 rushing TDs on the ground, Patrick Mahomes has half of them. So that's first and foremost. Secondly, though they might not be spreading the rock in terms of yards all over the place, they are spreading the rock. Outside of the stats on Patrick Mahomes, Kareem Hunt's run for 108 yards and 2 touchdowns in 2 games. Travis Kelce has 136 receiving yards and 1 touchdown in 2 games. And Xavier Worthy has 130 receiving yards and 1 touchdown in 2 games. I tell you all that to say this. Andy Reid's going to make it very difficult for a defense to figure out who the hell are we guarding right now. And they might not be the most explosive offense they've been in their 7 years of Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes together, but they might be the most creative offense to date for this team, having to find different ways using your head coach's offensive prowess, your ability and athleticism of your quarterback, and old reliable in Travis Kelce to start opening up the field for a whole lot of other people. So the offense in KC might not have numbers that are jumping off the page, but the offense in KC is being very efficient in terms of getting into the end zone and forcing their hand. 6 total touchdowns this offense has in 2 games. It's kind of wild. As they were trending towards the second half of the season, you needed to see a lot more from the offense, which you would always think is their bright spot, but that's because you got Steve Spagnuolo on the other side. When you're looking at the defense of the Philadelphia Eagles, you are looking at a defense that is number 1 in the postseason so far to date in terms of points given up per game at 18.3 points per game. And the Philly Eagles have played the most amount of games at 3 in the postseason because they had to handle the wild card round. Before I give you the team stats, I want to note Zach Bond, who has really turned his career around in terms of how elite he is, all pro, pro bowler, leading the team in tackles so far through 3 postseason games with 26. That is a presence in the middle linebacker. There are 3 different defensive players on this Eagles defense that have 20 plus tackles in 3 games in the postseason. That is an extremely awesome stat. That means there's a lot of gang tackling going on this Eagles team. It makes it very difficult for ball handlers for Kansas City to believe that they can get those yak yards or yards after the catch. In terms of overall, some of the numbers are pretty alarming. 351.3 total yards per game for the 3 offenses that have faced the Eagles. That just tells me they are very good at bending but not breaking, which arguably could be the most important thing that this team does. They give up 245.7 pass yards per game and 105.7 rush yards per game. So there are yards to get right now on the field for Kansas City, but can they get those points? And I think that finishes my point about this matchup, why this matchup's going to be so good. It's going to be iron sharpens iron. Right now, KC is being elite at getting in the end zone. Maybe they're not collecting all the yards. Maybe not one singular player's elite, but their team's offense getting in at a clip of 27.5 points per game is huge. Whereas the Eagles are the opposite. They'll give up yards. They'll give up yards in the middle of the field. At the end of the day, the most you might be getting off of us is 3 points. So what's it going to be? Does KC break through in the yards category and continue to break through in the point scoring category, which I could see them then putting up 30 plus if that happens? Or do the Eagles just simply stay put and say, hey, you can have a few more yards than you've been averaging all year, but we are still going to shut the door in the red zone and not let you get into the end zone? That, to me, right there is a huge factor. Finally, Noah Smith Jr., defensive lineman for the Eagles, has 4 sacks so far. Or excuse me, 4 sacks in 3 games for the Eagles. The team has 10. So there's been some shifting on the offensive line for KC. Excuse me, it has worked out for them over the last 8 to 9 weeks. But this is an elite defensive line, arguably the best defensive line in the league. Can KC keep Patrick Mahomes upright? In 2 games, they've only given up 5 sacks. But again, this is a different animal that they are facing in the Philadelphia Eagles. So we will see what's going to happen here in that specific matchup of the KC offense against the KC defense. Right now, I give the leg up to the Eagles defense because I believe defense wins championships. I've always been of that ilk. If you have an elite level defense, I believe you can find a way to win in any time of the year. So for me, day 1, Super Bowl 59 preview, KC offense versus Philly's defense. I give the slight edge on paper to Philly's defense. I give the edge in coaching to KC's offense. At the end of the day, what a fun matchup we are in store for on Sunday. Fun fact about Super Bowl 59 commercials I want to bring to you to start the Thursday show tomorrow. So you got to stick with us because in 1967, we played the first Super Bowl. And when you find out how much money a Super Bowl commercial was in 1967 comparative to in 2025, you might drop from wherever you're sitting. You might be speechless. I was last night when I was doing the research. So Thursday, not only are we going to talk the KC defense led by Steve Spagnuolo against the Philly offense led by maybe future Saints head coach Kellen Moore. We will break down that matchup. Plus, I got some information for you on the Super Bowl commercials, which I think we all love. Let's finish this show the way that we always do with some take on some
ba 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 banana ba ba ba.
All right. The bananas are starting to cook for the Rome show here. And I hope I have people at home that are saying, even when this guy's got a bad stretch, he finds a way to bring it back. And that's what I'm trying to do for the people. Yesterday, we had another 2-0 day. We bring our record to 38-34. We are 4-0 in our last 4 picks. We are 6-7 in our last 7 picks. So stick with me here, people, because I think you're going to have a whole lot more bananas in your bushel if you're putting your bananas down where the Rome Show's telling you. So I got a bonus bet here that I'd like to tell the people, and it's just simply because it's an interesting story. Tonight, Phoenix goes to Oklahoma City, where Kevin Durant was drafted, in theory, by the Seattle Sonics, but had majority of his career in OKC. Kevin Durant sits 26 points away from the elusive 30,000 point mark. Now he's been dropped down to doubtful for this game, so be it ankle injury or so be it maybe trade rumors. But nonetheless, don't put this on your card unless you know KD's going to play. But if KD's going to play tonight, give me KD over 25 points, because I got to imagine they would love for him to get 30,000 in his home of Oklahoma City. To continue on, we got the Spurs versus the Hawks. The Hawks have been playing bad basketball over the last 20 games, whereas the Spurs, they just made a major trade for De'Aaron Fox to put him with Chris Paul and Victor Wembanyama. So I'm just going to straight up take the Spurs against the Hawks on the money line. I think there's going to be a lot of excitement in that game, and I think you're going to see the makings of a really good backcourt, front court in Wemby and Fox for the next 6 to 8 years in San Antonio. Then finally, staying on the hardwood today, we have the Denver Nuggets, winners of 3 straight, versus the New Orleans Pelicans, losers of 6 straight. Denver is favored by 10.5 points in this game. I believe in the Joker. I believe in the Nuggets, and I've continually not believed in New Orleans over the last 5 years. So give me the Nuggets at minus the 10.5, and that will conclude your... No, I keep hitting the wrong button.
Ba 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 banana. Ba ba.
Segment for the day and the Rome Show here on a Wednesday. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you every single day you tune into the show. Remind your friends it's elite. Show them how to watch. Show them how to listen. It can be YouTube. It can be X. It can be the podcast. So many different ways. You just got to let the people know. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. We talk Philly O. We talk KCD. We talk Super Bowl commercials. And who knows? Maybe we talk some other things too. Andrew Romanella, The Rome Show. Have an electric day. This is me saying peace.
Thank you for listening.